Welcome to my channel. If it's not your first time watching, welcome back. It's summertime. Whether you're gonna have a hot girl summer or in the house summer, whatever your summer is looking like, it's summertime. It was a little breezy here today in Atlanta, but for the most part, it has been hot. And whether you are in the house, out the house, I have quickly figured out we got to keep our face intact. And I always get questions about like not just makeup but oily skin makeup. So I wanted to bring you guys today a couple of tips. I think it's 6 total on what I do specifically during my makeup routine because I have oily skin. So not just things I do in general, but specifically things I know that I have to do to keep my face matte, to keep my face in place the whole day without the oil breaking through. So hopefully this is gonna help some of you guys stay beat for the summer. Since you're here, before we jump into it, you don't like to jump into it. Before we jump into it, go ahead and hit that subscription box if you think this is something you're gonna be interested in. And hit the bell so you can always know when I upload. We are so close to 10,000. I am working on getting a 10K giveaway set up. You know, if you guys follow me on Instagram at malibudarby, I am like pushing the road to 10K. So I'm super excited. So without further ado, let's get into how to stop your makeup from being oily. We want to say matte but not flat. I think that's a NYX product. Anyway, cut to me with no makeup on. But yes, like I said, I'm gonna be giving y'all, is it 5? Don't get me lying. I'm gonna be giving y'all tips on how to avoid your oil breaking through your makeup, getting oily throughout the day, just keeping your makeup matte, especially if you are like me and you have oily combination skin. There's a couple steps that I cannot go without to keep my face intact throughout the day. So let's start with the first step. So the first step is going to be moisturize, moisturize, moisturize. So a lot of times if your face is getting oily, it's actually because your skin is dry, your skin is dehydrated, and your skin is overcompensating by creating oil to hydrate and moisturize your skin. So I always use my hyaluronic acid, so I use that morning and night. That is a serum. I have one from The Ordinary, and I also have one that I just got from TJ Maxx, but I always use that after cleansing my face. Also, I always use the Aveeno Positively Radiant Daily Moisturizer. So this has SPF, which y'all know I don't play with my SPF. This is SPF 30. I recommend having at least one moisturizer that has SPF, especially during the summer. I don't care how dark you are, how light you are, you need SPF. The other moisturizer that I use, especially when I'm going to bed and I'm really slathering on my serums and my creams and really getting in there, is the St. Ives Hydrating Face Moisturizer. This is super inexpensive, super affordable. It's honestly super basic in the world of skincare, but it does the job. It's creamy. I can tell that my skin's hydrated. My skin has a sheen to it. So I always moisturize, especially before I'm going to do my makeup. So that is my first most important one. If you do not have a moisturizer, you gotta get one. If you're using regular lotion and that's working for you, do you. Some people use shea butter, some people use coconut oil. For me, I need a skincare specific moisturizer, especially because I am a little acne prone, and those heavier oils like shea butter and coconut oil clog my skin. So that's the first tip. The second tip is I do not put on makeup, at least on purpose, without priming. Priming is so important. It's literally like priming a wall. You have to prepare your skin for the product that you are about to put on it. Today I'm using the Pore Professional from Benefit. This is the Matte Rescue version. I have used NYX Angel Veil. You can use the Becca, I think it's the Ever Matte. Just some kind of mattifying primer because your skin needs to be prepped and ready. I've literally tried to do it before without primer just to see, and it's downhill. So don't do it. And you're gonna rub that all over, concentrating on your problem areas, which for most of us is gonna be our T-zone. Typically when I'm putting my primer on, I do like to put it on before I do my eyes. I waited for the purpose of this video, but I like to do it before I do my eyes just to let it start like setting in. So immediately I can feel that my face is more matte than normal. I can feel that it's dry. It feels a little bit tacky, but not too much. Okay, y'all, so it worked out that my primer did get to sit in because my left lash was trying to make a run for it. If she starts to act up again, I'm just gonna let it fly off and I'll handle it after the video because we have things to do. Okay, so we have already talked about moisturizing. We have talked about priming. Y'all know when one lash is just not cooperating. This one went on too easy, so I knew she was about to show out. Okay, so we have primed. I have not been really color correcting a lot lately, so that's not a step I'm going to do. But after I prime, this is very important, and I know it's going to sound crazy. I've heard people saying this is a TikTok hack, which is very weird to me because this was on YouTube. I saw Jackie and some other people doing this a while ago. But I'm going to take my Fenty translucent powder in the shade Nutmeg and my Colored Rain sponge, which is damp, and I'm going to powder my face before my foundation. Now, y'all have seen me do this, I believe, in some videos, and it is a very important step to keeping it matte. This is gonna absorb all that oil, stop that oil from even breaking through that foundation. So I do my whole face, and like I said, especially my T-zone. I don't really do my under eye because I'm going to set that with powder after I do my concealer, but I just take the sponge and I just set all those areas really well. And I like to use something like a brown translucent powder just to make sure it doesn't really affect the foundation color, but you can use a white powder that is truly translucent. I just don't use like my Sasha or anything like that to set it. Okay, so now that my face is powdered, I'm going to go in with my foundations. I do purchase mattifying foundations, but I don't know if it's like a big thing to me. I think because I do so many other steps that I feel like do what I need to do to mattify them. I actually try not to use all mattifying products as far as foundation and concealer because for me, my skin starts to get really dry. So I just use a general foundation just for normal skin, normal or combination, but I don't go for one that's like super mattifying because it starts to get tight for me. So then I'm gonna go in with my foundation. Today I'm using Uoma Beauty and the Revlon Color Stay. Boom. And I'm going to apply that. And as I'm doing it, for me, when the first time I did the powder on the foundation, I was impressed that I didn't feel like it was affecting the application of the foundation. It just helps also make it full coverage. And I believe the Revlon and the Uoma are both medium to full coverage. So I actually end up using less product because I powdered underneath. And I'm going in with that same sponge. I'm not applying more powder, but I'm just using it to kind of even out. Make sure I don't have any splotchiness, any patches, especially on my hairline. Okay, so now I'm going to go in very dramatically. I'm going to use a couple concealers, but I am going to go in with the Juvia's Place, the Fenty, and a little bit of the e.l.f. concealer and just highlight and conceal and do my under eye. So you'll kind of see what I'm doing. So I'm going in with the darkest one, which is the e.l.f. And again, these are not specifically mattifying or anything like that. I don't really get anything that's hydrating also though. So while I don't make sure specifically mattifying, I don't get anything that's hydrating either. And using multiple concealers is not required. It's not gonna help you mattify. It's just a personal preference. I like the gradient. And I'm gonna let my under eye concealer sit. For me, when I let it sit and I kind of let it dry down a little bit, I feel like even if I do have some oil break through, it doesn't shift as much, especially for my under eye. So I do let that sit a little bit. Still letting the under eye work and do its thing. I'm going in with black walnut to do a very light cream contour. That's how you know it's hot, because this looks like it has melted some. Then I'm going to take that same colored rain sponge and just blend that out in the under eye. Okay, so before I set this with powder, I'm going to take my Urban Decay Slick or whatever your mattifying setting spray is. I'm going to kind of start to, oh, she's on her last leg. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna let that set very quickly. Okay, so we did the de-slick spray to kind of set all the creams, the liquids, all of the foundation, concealers, and contours. Now I'm gonna go with powder to set everything. So I'm gonna start with the Fenty Beauty Honey Translucent Powder and go right under my eye and set that. I do not bake. For me, it makes my under eye dry, but I just go and I press it in, and I find that that is enough. If you feel like your under eye is very oily, you could bake. That is just not my ministry, so I'm not going to instruct you to do that. I find that when I bake, I get really patchy. It gets too dry and it gets patchy. Taking that same honey powder and just doing those other areas that I did my concealer. Then I'm going to take a big fluffy brush. I'm going to dip really lightly into that Fenty powder in the shade Nutmeg, and I'm going to set around my mouth. I'm going to set my jawline, and I'm going to set a little bit of here, really lightly with the powder. Now for the contour, I'm going to set the contour using the Black Radiance in the shade, I believe this is Ebony. This thing has seen so much. Yeah, this is in the shade Ebony. And I'm going to set this, especially because I use a cream product. I don't want that to shift at all and let any oil start breaking through. I don't do a ton of cream products, especially not together, because for me, I find that cream products do let oil break through faster. So setting cream product areas is super important. Boom. Then I can go in and do like my finishing stuff, which is the blush, the highlight, and knock that out really quick. Okay, and for our final step, I go in with two different sprays. You already know I did a video on the Scandinavia. I go in with the Fix Plus from MAC. I also have this in the matte formula, but I don't know if I got a defective bottle or what, but it just is not spray for me. So I'm gonna go with the regular formula. Let her dry. And I know it's gonna be like, that's a lot of spray or your face is wet. It is, but just follow me. I promise it's gonna dry and look completely fine. Then I'm gonna go with the Scandinavia. This definitely makes a big difference for mattifying. I don't know how many pumps it says you're supposed to do, but I get in there because I'm oily and I sweat. So I don't have time for any of the above. And that, letting her dry, that is it. So what did I guess? Did I guess 5 steps? Okay, let's see. We moisturize, we prime, we set our primer with powder, we spray our liquids and creams with the setting spray, we set that with the powder, and we do another spray. Okay, so 6. I wasn't far off. So I think that's 6 steps total. I will make sure that I like notate each step by each one. I will try to list the steps in the description box, list any products that you guys want. Well, if there are any products specifically you guys want me to tell you or anything like that, put that in the comments below. If there's any questions specifically that you have, put those in the comments below. And yeah, I get a lot of questions a lot about oily skin, so I just wanted to do something kind of focusing on what I do for doing makeup with my skin type. So hopefully this was helpful. Like I said, I don't know where you are. It was a little chilly today here in Atlanta, but summer is here. It was hot a couple days ago. It's like 85 at 9 a.m. So I quickly am figuring out like, okay, we got to keep this makeup intact no matter what. When you do go outside, you got to keep the face on. So hopefully this helped you guys. Again, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. So close to 10,000. 10K giveaway is coming up. So hit the bell and the subscription button so you can know when that starts, and I will see you in the next video.